Hello there. Welcome once again to the show that we're starting to dub Tales from the Late Show. My name, as always, is Mike Chisholm. We are very grateful once again to be talking to Arthur Kelly, who served not only as one of the administrative liaisons on the top floor for the Late Show for decades, for a long time, 15 years, but also was Mike Singletary on Coach's Corner on the Late Show. Arthur, thank you once again for taking time out of your day to come and talk to us again.
Well, thank you very much for having me. You know, an invitation is always warm and I always accept it. So this is going to be fun and I enjoy coming. This is my second time coming on. I look forward to coming back again and again and again, as much as you would like to have me come on.
Oh man, I could talk to you all day. We just spoke with not too long ago. We shot an episode with the head prop director, Glenn Borders, for working for the Late Show, and he talked about you. He referred to you as having an amazing run on the Late Show. He was very complimentary, as has everybody who has watched our initial video with you. Been complimentary about just you being willing to open up and talk about your days working on a show that a lot of the viewers of that video wish that they could say that they did. You got a chance. You went to the Ed Sullivan Theater every day for 15 years. My word. What a run indeed.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I felt that looking back now, I think I may have been a drunk the entire 15 years and I wasn't aware of where I was and what I was doing. So,
right.
because when you're there, you're just doing it. So you're not looking at it as being anything that's out of the ordinary. You know, you just feel that, it's entertainment and that's what you do. And that's what people are expecting, you to do. And that's about it. So that's your job.
Sure.
And then looking back now a little bit, then I realized actually I was on the show. But during the time I was actually on the show, I was oblivious to what I was doing there. I was standing there in front of a camera,
yeah.
And then I just transformed myself into somebody else. The TV is magic. That's just about telling you.
TV is magic. Well, you helped create a lot of magic moments for us as Letterman fans. And I guess let's go back. I've had a lot of people kind of reach out to me and ask some questions. So let's go back to the day-to-day a little bit, because like you say, it was just a job in that regard, but it wasn't just a job as well. It was a very unique job.
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
Yes.
What made you apply for the job in the first place? How did you end up working there?
Well, it was a day I was working at another company down on Lower Manhattan. And so I had the day off and I was looking to leave there. I wanted something totally different, but I didn't know what it was. So what I did is that I started sending my resume out and then I started lining myself up for interviews. And it happened to be in January, the coldest day of the winter. And that's when I'm thinking, should I really go? Should I just cancel these appointments and go back to bed? And because I still have a job. But then I thought about it. I said, well, if you really want to be true to yourself, you're going to have to make the effort. So I went out, I made my appointments, and some of them were on the east side of Manhattan. Then the others were on the west side. And I think it was like 6 degrees out, and I'm wearing, business shoes and an overcoat, trying to dress warmly, but look corporate.
Sure.
And I had a couple interviews. So the last interview of the day, I met with a recruiter and she says, well, I have a position that you may be interested in. And I'm like, well, tell me, boy. She says, well, and then she says, well, it's not far because this is on Broadway. She says, it's up on 53rd and Broadway. And I'm thinking, well, okay. And she said, it's with a company called Worldwide Pants. So now I'm thinking to myself, Worldwide Pants. I'm really not looking for anything in the garment business, but I'm not going to turn down the opportunity.
Sure, it's something in the garment district.
I had no idea what Worldwide Pants was, to be honest with you. So when I went up Broadway and I looked at the address, and I just saw the Ed Sullivan Theater, but I didn't see anything with Worldwide Pants.
Right.
Like, is this another one of these? I got you jobs, send you somewhere, and then they're going to be asking you to sell vacuum cleaners.
Sure. It's candid
And
camera.
then I
Alan
went
Funt's
in,
going to jump out and say, gotcha.
yeah. So at that point, I was kind of like borderline desperate. I probably would have taken that job anyway. So I went in and I met with the human resources person and one of the producers and Mr. Letterman's executive assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down and we talked. We had a conversation. So they asked me questions and I gave them answers. And that was pretty much it. So I left, and I didn't think much of it. I said, well, that was nice. Now it's time to go home and just call it a day. So the next day, the recruiter that referred me, she asked me how the interview went. I said, well, it went well. I thought it was nice and the nice people, everything, seemed to be okay. And she said, well, are you interested? I said, well, yes, I'm interested. She says, well, they're interested.
Well, there you go.
I'm like, okay, well, that sounds great. That sounds like a relief, but not looking, to say, wow, this is an opportunity for me in television, because that was the farthest thing from my mind.
Right.
I was like just looking at the opportunity to go to a different situation, a different work environment, and see what lies ahead there. So that's how that came about.
So it's almost suddenly like, you're getting a regular job. You use the term corporate in corporate America, and suddenly you're working for, in some respects, or to what people would think is Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. During the interview, did they ask you, have you ever heard of the show, or are you a fan of the show? Did any of that ever come up at all, or could it have been an interview for any company?
No, they were pretty much more interested in, me and what I've done and what can I do and all of that wonderful stuff. But I was prepared to answer that question because, to be honest with you, I had never seen the show before at all.
Wow.
I'd never seen the show before. Never.
Wow.
Never. I can't tell you anything about any top 10 list or any of that. I'm like, what is that? Is that a menu or something? But I had no idea what it was, So I came in with zero knowledge of what was, I know it was comedy, but I and I knew who the host was. Right. But I didn't know anything about, because I'd never watched it before, and so I buckled myself up and I went for the ride.
Indeed.
And it's funny because I had no real plan on like how long I was going to be there. I didn't say I'm going to stay here for a couple years and then I'm going to move on somewhere else. I said, well, this seems to be a good place, good people. Let's stay here. And see where life leads, and hey, stranger things have happened.
And
I'll just tell the kids, don't ever neglect your studies, kids.
Stay in school, everybody.
Stay in school.
So you get the job, and for those of us who are geographically challenged or we're not familiar with the with the New York, New Jersey dynamic, were you living in Jersey back then?
Well, yes, that's where I'm from. Yeah.
Okay. So you're from Jersey.
I take a train. It takes me right into Manhattan, and that's like maybe a 20-minute ride. Right. And then I have to take another connecting train to 7th Avenue from 33rd Street. Well, on a good summer's day, I would normally walk. Depending on my mood, I would walk. After the show, definitely I would walk. But certain days, I would just take the walk. It's not a bad, in Manhattan, you could just walk the whole place and not realize if you walked 100 blocks already.
Absolutely. So every day now, you go to the interview goes well, they're interested in you, you're interested in them. Great, let's do this. And so now every day you're going from your place in Jersey to the Ed Sullivan Theater. Is that a 9-to-5 gig or at first when they hired you, what were the hours like?
This is how it worked. When I first came, there was no show. So that I was like, well, I don't know. I'm here now. I'll just see what happens.
Right.
And because I how I found it was all over the media about Mr. Letterman having his surgery.
Yep.
And I had no idea I would be coming there during that period. Gotcha. So by the time when I came, there was no show going on.
Right.
And so that was pretty much how that started. And then after that, things started picking up, the show's back in production, and people are calling, and everybody's jolly, and certain people are not jolly. Yeah. But what were we talking about? The geographical location. Yeah.
No. So that you answered that really, really well. So you would go there every day. At first, you're getting your feet wet because there's no show. Now, was your first experience, I guess, with the production? Were there guest hosts at the time, or had they gone through the guest hosts and they were just
well,
getting ready
yeah,
for Dave's return?
they had started some guest hosts that had coming on.
Yep.
You know, during I was there during that period, so that was great. You know, getting getting things warmed up, so to speak.
Sure.
You know, and everybody was great. All the guest hosts were pretty good. You know. So
would they use Dave's office? Like, would they use that part of the production offices, or was it basically kind of a ghost town until Dave returned?
Well, I mean, pretty much you had the staff in place, you know, because the thing is, you want to make, I guess, apparently preparation.
Sure.
You know, because the thing is, you don't want to prepare, and I from their standpoint, for me, you know, I'm pretty much plug and play.
Right.
So I plugged the phone in. Hello, the Late Show, and then it's like, okay, ma'am, very well. I'll pass that information along. Thank you for calling. Have a good day.
Man.
Late Show. I'm sorry. What was that again, ma'am? No, you heard me. You idiot. Okay, very well. How can I help you? You idiot. You know, and your boss is an idiot, and you all are idiots, and I don't like you, and I don't like your hair. I'm like, okay, very well. Thank you for calling, ma'am. Have a good day. So
wow.
But
so
yeah,
you were the sounding board for like when Letterman would go, and he would sometimes he would say some of the he would get into feuds. I mean, maybe not a feud is the wrong word, but he would say something about Sarah Palin, for example. Were you the guy that would get the earful when Dave?
Oh yeah. You know, and for me, in a weird kind of way, I didn't, I found it in a way a little entertaining.
Sure.
Because after a period of time, if you listen to the tone and you listen to the whole demeanor of the individual, and it's pointless. But at least to me. But the thing is, to them, and then they're right to have their opinion.
Sure, of course.
Then it's pretty much like, it's after the fact. Is it like, it's like once the bullet's out the gun, it's like, oh, can I get the bullet back? It's like that type of thing.
Yeah, he can't unsay a joke that he said the night before.
Yeah. But remember, we're dealing with human beings.
Sure.
I mean, and that when I worked there, that taught me a lot about people, how they view television, media, entertainment. So, once you get a chance to see it from, rather than just sitting in front of the television, you see the mechanics of what goes on and how how people's opinions are of what they view. Like, I remember when I had relatives, this is true, I'm gonna make this story real quick, I don't want to.
Please, no, go ahead.
But they would watch, maybe you might have had it in your family, where they would watch television. And if it's like maybe a horror movie, they was like, why is she going in that room? Don't go in that room.
Right.
It's like, don't go in the room. and many of them later on had to go into a room.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you started there in 2000, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the questions that I had was, hey, ask Arthur about 9/11. And as that came up, I was like, whoa, what? But at the end of the day, I mean, you guys were part of an epicenter of an event that we've just come past the anniversary of again. Can't believe that it's been 19 years since that day. And Dave, still to this day, is heralded as one of the people who, after that event happened, he was the one that many people were waiting for to speak, and some would say that he gave permission to the country and really the world out of New York, that we can laugh again and we can resume our daily lives forever changed. But you have a unique perspective because you worked for the show at that point. And do you remember getting the call back to go back to work after 9/11?
Yeah, so I remember going to work that morning. So,
Right.
like I said, I live in New Jersey, and then the train, it's on above ground, and it goes down into the tunnel.
Sure.
So before it goes into the tunnel, the train stops, and I could see smoke coming out of the World Trade Center, and I see people getting out of their seats, looking at the building, and I'm thinking like, wow, looks like a really bad fire. And then so we resume into the tunnel, and we get to 33rd Street, and then I get to the office, and people are saying, "Did you hear what happened?" I'm like, "Well, what? I saw a fire." He said, "No," he said, a plane hit the building." I said, "The plane hit a building." And by the time I went upstairs to the office, they were showing that a plane hit the other building.
Man.
And you're thinking to yourself, is this really happening? You know, and it is really happening. You know, and it was just it was the worst day. It was very chaotic, and I hope never to see a day like that again in my lifetime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You go home that day, you know, it's chaos, and
now, so that is not as easy as that.
Okay.
Because now all the bridges, tunnels, everything is shut down.
Right.
And now it's nightfall, and people are saying where can you find a hotel? And there's no hotels. So, you know, I was thinking, I said, well, worst comes to worst, I can always go way back to where I work, and I could just spend the night there.
Sure.
You know, because it has all the comforts of home.
Absolutely.
You know, except my favorite teddy bear, but and I can always find something down in wardrobe.
Oh, I don't think Dave likes it when you call him his teddy bear, your teddy bear, but
Oh no, definitely not. Oh no.
Oh, he's never
Not
been called that before. So you're dark for a few days because of obvious reasons, and then the decision is made to start production back up again. And I think that night Dave had Regis, and I think he had Dan Rather on. So are you in the city still? Like, you get the call saying, "Hey, we're going back to work," and or did you go in every day?
Well, yeah. So when it was time to go back to work, I went back to work. So that was it. Yeah, and that was it. So that was pretty much it. You know, and you know, it was it was kind of eerie. You know, and a lot of a lot of things going on. So, but you know, listen, you know, the big guy is the big guy, and you know, he I mean, he's a very heartfelt guy when he wants to say something, and I've never seen that. I don't really know the man. You know, I've seen him, but I don't know him. But I've seen a side of him that showed me that this is a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know, despite maybe his little crabbiness. Who amongst us is not crabby? You know, right now I'm crabby. You know, so. But, you know, listen, it's what's underneath the surface of all that, the humanity, you know, and the heartfelt, you know, of humanity and other people, you know, and the thing is, sometimes sometimes people feel that you don't really necessarily have to do it, but the thing is, you know, it shows you really what type of person you are. So if you want the world to know who you are, you know, outside of your comedy and buffoonery and juggling and all of that.
Sure.
Then you could do that, you know, by displaying that. So go big guy. Go Jim.
Go Jim. Go. And what heartfelt, like you said, heartfelt words that he spoke that night. I can imagine that. If the phones were ringing the next day at all, I can imagine that it was nothing but compliments about what, how.
Well, yeah, because you know the thing is, you know, it touched a lot of people, you know, and it was heartfelt, there was no breaks of comedy like, ha ha ha, I got you this time. I was just joking about that. You know,
Right.
you could see, you could feel, at least for me, I don't know, you know, I don't know. Since I've been with these psychic advisors, they're telling me about getting in tune with my feelings.
Sure.
So, you know, the thing is, but no, seriously, you could see and feel, at least for me, I could see and feel a little something about him that I, like I said, I didn't know, you know, but
Yeah.
I saw that. So that told me all I needed to know, you know, and that was good.
Well, and that was the beginning of your journey there. Really, you'd only been there a year, and it starts to move and change and move faster, and then suddenly you're on the show. One of the questions that I had was we Mike Singletary was a very polarizing figure within the football world. You know, he would get up and he would say things that some people were just, they didn't understand what he was saying, and he was so intense in how he said it, and he was such a serious guy when it came to football. And you guys come at it from this complete different angle where you kind of see the fun in it, and you start poking fun at them a little bit, but at the same time creating entertainment for so many people. Did you ever hear anything about Mike's reaction to what you guys were doing on your little bit there?
Well, you know, once an intern found some sort of clip of a radio interview that he had with someone. And so the guy interviewed him, asked did he ever see anything about the Coach's Corner.
Right.
He said, yeah, he's heard about it. And he said, well, what did you think about it? And then he said, well, it seems like the guy has some issues.
Seems like you have some issues.
Yeah, being me. Yeah. He said it seemed, you know, that I had some issues. You know, and that was, hey, listen, you know, I mean, hey, just having fun. That's all. You know.
Well, that's pay dirt as far as I'm concerned. That's the best reaction you could have gotten.
Well, yeah. You know, you take somebody who's a person who has a certain type of personality, and then what I did is try to magnify it with making a joke out of it, but not making a joke out of the person, but making a joke out of whatever is taking place.
Absolutely.
So it was like eating a burger. You know, I would take a big bite in the burger, and then I was expected to talk during the time of chewing the burger, which
Right.
didn't turn out well once. You know, because the burger got stuck in my throat, and then I said, well, I have a shake. You know, I said, oh, this is going to save me. And so the shake, it's so thick, it was like mud. And I'm trying to suck it through the straw, and that's not working, you know. And now I'm really choking. So hey, but it's all in fun.
And that adds to it, though. I mean, that's what's funny about it.
Well, yeah, I guess, you know, people would have laughed because they don't know what the cutoff point of the joke was.
Right.
If they may be seeing me falling down on the floor, you know, and convulsing, you know. Maybe this is where you'll see where people do something that they don't understand and they think it's comedy. Some idiot somewhere might think, oh, that's hilarious. This guy, you know, look at this. He's freaking vomiting. And he said, well, yeah, but that's blood coming out. He said, that's genius. That's genius, man. He said, that's genius. Who does that? He said, it really looks real, you know.
Commitment to the craft.
And then all of a sudden they said, well, he's pronounced dead. And they said, well, oh, wow, I didn't realize it wasn't a joke.
Right.
But, you know, it's all a comedy.
Yeah,
and...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to go.
I'm sorry, Mike.
No, you know, and it's... That is
I just came up for air.
Oh, you came up for air. We've had people ask us as well, if there were, like, what was the most memorable one for you? If there was one... Coach's Corner in particular that you go back to, and my response was, well, I think it might have been the first one because you talked about how nervous you were, but as you got into it, and the nervous kind of went away a little bit, or you got used to doing it, was there anything in particular? Was there one that stands out to you as going, yeah, that's the one? I had a lot of fun with that one.
I think one that I've, you know, 'cause like I said, I really never viewed any of these coaches' corners, to be honest with you. So recently, yeah, I mean, you know, because I have this thing, you know, you know, like watching myself.
Right.
So, yeah, and so lately, I looked at some of the ones that I posted, and I think there's one in particular where I thought was pretty good. To where I'm trying to remember how the line started. So I think it goes where I tell Dave something about, you know, talking to you is better than winning the Super Bowl, and
Right.
of course I'm lying. You know, so that was probably one of my better ones. Yeah, yeah, I like that one. It's amazing I can remember these things now. And during the time, you know, when I was doing it, everything was like just a blank, like blank. It was just like, it was kind of weird, you know.
I'm going to remind you of one right now. There was one episode where, from the viewer's standpoint, I can only say from the viewer's standpoint, this is how it appeared. Billy Crystal was on the show, and you guys had done a Coach's Corner segment. Yeah, so you had done a Coach's Corner segment, and Billy looked like he was so tickled with it that he wanted to ask you some questions. Do you remember that episode?
Oh yeah, yes. Because he was asking me, I think I'm trying to remember how it starts out. And then I go, I would have went 888 second sound seam razor. And he was like, well, yeah, I hear you. That sounds like them. You know, yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, yeah. I think it's something to that effect. But I do remember that. Yes, I didn't expect that to happen.
So was that planned, or was that here? We're getting the green screen back out again. Arthur, you're back up again.
Well, no. So they're telling me after I just struggled through my little segment with him, you know, I'm like, I'm glad that's over. They said, no, stay right there. Stay. I'm like, well, what? What now, is it execution squad's coming now? You know, because you wanted me to go back in front of the camera. I'm like, oh. And then he said, Coach, we have Billy Crystal here. Billy Crystal. Oh, wow. What could this? You know, this is like these little things that go on. I said, what could this be? Well, let's go along with it because there's no script. You know, let's go with the bouncing ball. You know, and it was fun. You know, and you know, so you know, when you know, even when you know, if you suck. If you're anywhere in the company of Billy Crystal or somewhere,
right,
they're going to make you look like you're brilliant.
Absolutely.
You know, these are guys who are craftsmen, you know, and they know how to tweak and turn certain things, you know. And
they can take chicken, you know what, and turn it into chicken salad.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Well, as we close up, we're already on a half hour again, and I can't wait to do this more and more with you. And the more questions we get, the more we'll get them to you. That is one thing with the material that Glenn and I just talked about this not too long ago. The one thing about Dave, and you alluded to it, was that he was a craftsman, and no matter what you kind of threw at him, he could take it. Even if he made a silent pause, he had that timing where he could do that. I want to suggest to you, though, Arthur, that you always threw him softballs. You always threw him things that he could use very easily. And just,
you know, I noticed that, you know, like if he actually went out on stage, you know, and just stood there and said nothing and looked at the people would find that funny.
Sure.
You know, they would find it a little odd because they're trying to figure out where is this going.
Yeah.
But they would find it. This is when you have that kind of magnetism,
right?
You know. So when people saw me going anywhere, they said, "Oh, there he is!" You know. I mean, but I'm just joking. I'm dressed for the occasion. I want you to see this. Can you see it?
Oh, there it is. Is that one of the staff shirts?
This is the Late Show anniversary T-shirt. This is the 18th year.
Man,
can you see it?
I can see it, man. I can see it. Stand up so we can see the 18.
Yeah. This T-shirt's lasted for geez, well, it was 18. Yeah, it's like 7-8 years now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you ever get any of the Worldwide Pants jackets?
Yeah. Those were gifted to me, by the big program, and I appreciate them. They were great.
Man,
Yeah.
I could sit and talk to you all day when it comes to this. We're gonna do these in half-hour chunks, so we're gonna finish this one. But I just wanted to say thank you once again for taking time to talk with us, to open up the memory banks that are in the head of Arthur Kelly, and talking about working on this show that so many of us just. Oh, thank you so much for taking time to do this, man. We just appreciate it so much, and we're gonna get some more questions for you for the next time, and get you telling even more stories.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate you like crazy, man, and we'll talk soon.
All right. All right. Later. Good night.